I'm the ketchup on Sebastian's French fry.
That's it.
That's it.
Way to put a button on it and then something.
But to start, I mean, I imagine it must feel really good to know that this show is finally coming out, that you finally have a premiere window after, all the hoops you guys had to jump through with the production. Anthony, I'll start with you. How does it sort of feel right now?
It feels great. And, after seeing WandaVision and the response that it got and the level of quality that Lizzie Olsen and Paul Bettany were able to bring to that show, it makes me feel really good about our show and how people will perceive it and enjoy it. I think we all of us in all of our different shows have been able to do something really special and kind of change the narrative of the Marvel platform.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony, kind of jumping off of that, I mean, you guys were one of the first productions to kind of go back to work kind of during all of this. Were there any sort of big takeaways for you, any kind of silver linings about the experience?
No, the big takeaway for me was how appreciative I was that everyone was looking out for each other. At no point in time did we have people huffing and puffing or, arguing about the safety of the crew. At no point in time did we have anybody stepping outside the parameters of COVID protocol that the Marvel and the production team had put together for us. Every single person on the crew were just as invested into this show as we were. And that's why I think it's turned out so special. That's why I think when people see it, they're going to love it, because you really got a full-fledged effort to make the show work.
It's funny that you say that you and Sebastian put a lot of yourselves into this work, because, Malcolm Spellman was saying that in his eyes, that scene in Civil War with you two in the car was sort of the birth of what would be the show. So Sebastian, I mean, what do you sort of remember from that scene? Was it already part of the script? Did you guys kind of improv through that?
No, yeah, the scene was in the script, and it was like a very cool, like cute little quick moment, and I think when we got there, the Russos were so encouraging to want to have us explore, and then we just kind of take after take, Anthony would do something else, and then I would kind of adjust to that, and yeah, like somehow that, but I'm a there you go. By the way, I see that everywhere. Yeah. There he is. He's been in the car the whole time.
Deleted scene.
Exactly. Yeah, but I also feel like, we again on a Winter Soldier tour, I feel like they really wanted me to talk, because they were worried, that I didn't talk a lot, because I get very uncomfortable. And anyway, so they put me with Anthony, and they were like, just put him in with Anthony. Okay. They're going to talk. And I was talking. By the end, I was very lively. I was a lively person, and it really is thanks to him. So, and I think that, helped us also.
I'm the ketchup on Sebastian's French fry.
That's it. That's
it.
Way to put a button on it and then something.
These guys use brute force. They're strong. Too strong. And they might be a part of the big three.
What big three?
Androids, aliens, and wizards.
That's not a thing.
That's definitely a thing.
No, it's not.
No, that's all good. I mean, I think that's it also makes Falcon and the Winter Soldier really interesting, because, you guys are used to vibing off of each other in the midst of a larger ensemble setting. So Anthony, what do you sort of get from each other as performers, having that kind of same kind of relationship environment, but now you guys are the stars of your own standalone story?
I think at this point in our careers, usually there's a certain tinge of ego or competition involved. And the great thing about my entire ride in the Marvel career is, from RDJ down to Tom Holland, which is down.
I knew you were going to say.
I've never
There's only one bottom.
There's only one bottom there, buddy. I've never experienced any ego or machismo or anybody pushing to say, this is mine and I'm going to do this. It's all about telling the best story and making the movie or show work the best. There were certain things that was on the page with this show. You know, I had to step back and let Sebastian fly. And there were certain times when Sebastian had to step back and let me fly. It was really amazing. I mean, it's really, I feel, for me, doing this show was my first time on a project feeling like I was doing a theater piece or a play. You know, it was, I think we're so drastically different that we kind of work together really well because we appreciate, respect, and support each other and work for the betterment of the project instead of ourselves.
So what's our plan? Great. So no plan. 30 seconds!
Enjoy your ride, Buck.
No, you can't call me that.
Why not? That's what Steve called you.
Steve knew me longer, and Steve had a plan. 15 seconds to drop!
I have a plan.
Really? What is it?
I remember being on set for Infinity War, and it was the scene where Cap's team first arrives in Wakanda, and I remember Sam, you guys were rehearsing a scene. Sam was kind of giving the Winter Soldier like a little jab about, you know, being 100-year-old man or whatever. But that moment never kind of made it into the final cut. So I was curious if that kind of vibe, just kind of you two playing off of each other, is sort of dialed up in the production for this show.
Yeah, I mean, all of that, I feel like, and much more. And again, we had to find that because, like, at the same, you know, it's a balance. Like, Anthony and I can sort of like, we have a certain specific language with each other. And then, but then, like, the characters, we have to remember, like, the characters have their own thing and, you know, the history and where they coming from. So we had to sort of find the balance. And look, Marvel and, you know, again, Malcolm as well, he should get credit here. Like, they really allowed us to be able to go to bring things to these characters and let us find that middle ground, right? Between kind of like, well, where is it funny? And how are these guys, where's this banter that we got? How can we apply it, make sense to these characters, not just to, you know, be us, like whatever, but that is specifically targeting where specific to these characters. Look, I think Anthony deserves like a lot of credit here because one of the things that I think it makes, you know, one of the things that I love about him that I feel like makes him a really great leader is he can read a room very well and he can read people very well. And I think he had a much better hand on the temperature of this show than I did, because there are times where I was so scared and like really trying to find the truth of everything and, you know, to make it, and he had to kind of pull me back and be like, yo, just remember, like, we're going to have some fun too. Like, this is a ride. This is a thing, you know, yes, let's find the dramatic moment, but just remember that it's supposed to be fun too. And I think that's a very important thing that you need, especially I think going into Marvel, but also just like that this show needed, you know.
We're not a team.
Nope.
We're partners. Co-workers. We look damn good.
Yeah, Anthony, I wanted to ask, because Malcolm spoke about how the writers found it or felt it was very significant to sort of consider the idea of a Black man succeeding Captain America, given our current climate in this country. And I was curious from your perspective if the show kind of directly kind of deals with that.
Well, I think we have to be honest with ourselves and realize that our current situation is only our current situation for half of the country. Our current situation has not been going on for the past year or the past decade for me. It's been going on for the past century. So being honest to that accord, there is a responsibility and a awareness that we have to have as actors and writers and producers of content to be aware of that. One thing I'm proud of is that the show is very honest and forthright and very unapologetic about dealing with the truth of what it means to be American, Captain America, Black Captain America, and if that's even a thing. I think, picking up from where we left off at the end of Endgame, the show progresses extremely well by asking those questions and really explaining why Sam said at the end of Endgame, the shield feels like it belongs to someone else.
A good friend of mine once said, the price of freedom is high. It always will be. It's time. Where do we start?
I was going to ask, who's the good cop and who's the bad cop in the Sam Winter Soldier dynamic?
Oh, Winter Soldier is always the bad cop, man. You never know. You never know what this dude's going to do. You never know when he's just going to hit tomato or hamburger and start cracking and killing people. You never know what's coming.
Yeah. Put the zucchini down. It's not a weapon. We're just ordering some appetizers. That's it. It doesn't have to be more than that.
Yeah, Sebastian, I was going to ask in terms of Bucky. I mean, he experienced paradise and retirement in Wakanda. I imagine there would have to be something big to kind of bring him out back into the world.
I don't know. I'll make this analogy to, I guess maybe you go on vacation somewhere. Maybe you go for 4 or 5 days and you experience sort of this initial relief for being in a new place, and you're busy, you're seeing things or you're meeting people, and the energy is always up, right? But at some point you're going to come back around to the world that's waiting for you, and to the past and to all these things. And so, he's by all means evolved since the Civil War world, but at the same time, again, both of these characters are struggling with this, with having suddenly having these shoes to fill, and they both related to Steve Rogers very differently. And I think for Bucky, it's sort of like having to now not worry about anybody and sort of be given like, okay, man, you're free, go out there and make something of yourself. Okay, well, what am I going to make of myself? This is all I've known, and this is where I come from. So okay, so who am I?
And if you look at it, the Winter Soldier is probably, I think, the best character arc in the entire Marvel universe. If you start with the first Avenger to Winter Soldier to Civil War to now, even if you only have 2 scenes of him, you can follow that character so well throughout the whole course of the universe, because he's had those moments where he's had to transition and find himself and, recreate himself, but then battle against himself. Sebastian, lucky enough, as always, he's in acting moments, and the rest of us sit around and just like play off of him. So, kudos to you, Sebastian.
One of these days he's going to bring me to tears. But I always thought it wasn't because of a compliment. I thought it was because of something else. But it always is a compliment.
And on that note, I'll just say thank you guys so much for taking the time to speak with me today. And I can't wait to see what you guys have been working on all this time.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.